Station Gang. Welcome to Ink and Insights, episode 5. Here a couple days before Halloween, our weekly comic book breakdown highlight reel show, talking about the past week's releases. I'm joined, as always, by my homie E at 9 Panel Grid. E, how we doing tonight, brother?
Dude, we were talking a little bit backstage, and I got to be completely honest. I've had like a little bit of a love affair with this seasonal cold recently, so I'm ready to break off things with this cold. I think that this relationship's run its course. I'm done with it, but it's a little bit clingy. It's a little bit clingy.
Yeah. Amen. Both the kids woke up with coughs this morning, but they dissipated, and I think they're okay. But you never know, man. There's always like that morning wake up. You don't know sometimes if your kids are going to make it to school or not. But thankfully, both of mine were out the door today. So fingers crossed for tomorrow. But yeah, man, excited for Halloween this week. Hope everybody's having a great Halloween week out there in TV land and doing well. Thank y'all for coming through. Whether you're with us live or on the rewind, we appreciate you. I thought it was a great week for comics and new releases, but before we do that, we wanted to do a new segment we've been talking about doing for a while here, our collection selection, where we take a book or a recent mail call, a recent back issue we got, a recent new issue we got, any type of book that we have and we want to show off and spotlight, and from our personal collection, give love to that might not be with our topic at hand. So I'm gonna give it to E here on the solo screen and let him start us off. E, take it away, brother.
All right. Something really cool happened, and I was really excited about it. There's only this is like this is a highlight of my collection. It's kind of like one of those once in a lifetime kind of things, and I was really stoked to be able to show this off. So I'm a big fan of the artist, writer, independent creator Jim Mafood, and I was able to pick up Los Angeles ink stains. You might be asking yourself though, Eric, that it looks a little bit thin. You're absolutely right. It does look thin. In fact, it's completely empty. The reason it's completely empty is because I happen to have gotten a custom hardcover, one of a kind, absolutely brilliant looking hardcover of the Los Angeles ink stains trade paperback that he had put out. Completely custom bound.
Wow. Excellent
condition. Like this thing, it's honestly, it's better than anything that Image itself could put out. This isn't hyperbole. This isn't me just like blowing smoke. When I talk about my absolute favorite things in my collection, this is now taking the cake. This is the best thing. If my house were to burn down, this is going to be under my arm as I'm running out the door. Okay. Like, this is the thing that comes with me. I was so absolutely stoked to get this. This was made by our man Simpleton, who happens to be in the chat as we speak. So, Station Simpleton, it's nice to see you. Dude,
bro,
you're a beast. You're a madman. You're a genius. Thank you so much for this. We definitely intend to dive deeper into this at a later date here, but I got it in the mail and I had to show it off. So, again, thank you so much here. And that's what I got for collection selection.
Oh yeah, bro. Awesome stuff. Shout out to the homie Simpleton. What an amazing work of art, dude. I love that. Just the cover alone is so sick.
And well, you're right. And again, yeah. He found custom images for this stuff too to make the cover itself. That's not something that is just in the book itself. Like, he just went out, found the artwork that was done by Mafood. It was mind-blowing. Absolutely mind-blowing stuff. So Simpleton, shout out to you, man. You're the best, dude.
So thanks. Yeah, absolutely. And it's like, you're right. I got my copy and it's a raggedy old, just like you had. It's that raggedy old trade paperback. You know what I mean? So it's so good to see such a dope book by Mafood treated with such love. But yeah, shout out to the homie Simpleton. Always doing incredible work out there. Y'all go follow him on IG, man. He posts pictures of his process. Dude, I'm ready, brother.
Oh.
Sign me up. I'll pay you mucho dinero for that, man. That looks amazing, dude. Absolutely. I'd love to get a piece of work by you. But yeah, let's get to the chat real quick before we move on any further to my selection here. Talk in the building, Talkie Station brother. Thank you
What
for
up, Doc?
coming. Our homie John's Comics with Kids. I'm
Doing double duty. He's doing Omni X-Men right now.
right. What an animal. Omni X-Men back in full effect, covering New Mutants. Look out for your boy in January doing the 2-issue Demon Bear saga with the fellas. I cannot wait. I'm so hyped. Got the homie Verno Station.
Verno.
Aboard Simpleton. Thank y'all for coming through. Hope everybody's doing well. Hope everybody's looking forward to Halloween. All right, for me, let me go solo real quick. And I will talk about my collection selection, man. Missed this gentleman at Heroes, but was happy to get on his mailing list and be ready for this drop. This is Batman Heat from Jeremy Hyler at Jeremy Hyler, Hyler art on IG. Y'all go give him a follow. Incredible artist. He's done, this is the third in a series of 4 that he's doing with Batman. We got Batman Rain, Batman, I think it started off with Batman Snow, then Batman Rain, Batman Heat featuring Clayface, and then Batman Fall, I believe, is the last one that's coming out on next. But yeah, man, this one was incredible. Just got it in the mail a couple days ago. Featuring him throwing down with Sandman. The whole thing is pretty much dialogue less, silent, and amazing artwork, dude. Definitely get like Dragotta vibes from this, some Daniel Warren Johnson, all sorts of inspirations. He just posted about an awesome interaction with Daniel Warren Johnson on we get the Akira slide, of course.
The Akira slide is so sick.
Look at
dude, come on. That's amazing.
Great stuff, yeah. He posted about an amazing interaction he had with Daniel Warren Johnson, just like we had with him at Heroes recently. And you know how much encouragement he gave him. He showed him his art and he got critiques back from him and all that. So that was so great to hear. But yeah, I just wanted to shout out Jeremy Hyler, great independent comic book artist. Missed him at Heroes. So happy to get a copy of Batman Heat. Yeah, y'all check him out on IG. But that is that's it for our collection selection.
Oh, and I'm hosting again. There we go.
Let me switch this back, bro. All right. Moving on to our new comic books. Let's start with Marvel, The House of Ideas, Iron Man #1. E, talk to me. What we got going on here?
This is
volume 7, okay. Right?
Hold on. Yeah, it's something like that. Let's talk about your excitement levels here first and foremost, man. Let's kick it off to The House of Ideas. Like, come on, Eeyore. It's not that bad, okay? Except for the fact that it is a little bit. This is the only Marvel book that I read this week, guys. So, like, this was a winner by freaking default. But it is what it is. Like, I kind of dig on Iron Man books. I've been along for the last couple of runs. I've been disappointed by the last couple of runs. This feels like we're like a hamster in the freaking wheel, right? Tony loses everything and he needs to get his company back. Gosh darn it, because he's lost it yet again. Tony is the worst businessman in the history of businessmen in real life or the Marvel universe or anything, basically. And a new suit's going to win the day. It's going to get him everything that he needs here. Like, have we done this enough? Like, I understand that Iron Man can only have so many stories, but like Bruce Wayne is a millionaire or billionaire and like he creates new stuff, and yet we find new and interesting things to do with Batman. Why can't Tony do that? Like, why can't Tony be the Batman of the Marvel universe instead of just retreading the same old grounds that, quite frankly, Matt Fraction already perfected, right? And if not, David Michelini perfected. Dude. Like, I'm cautiously optimistic on this. I can say that. And when we get into the story, there are some cool things that are going on here. Like, story-wise, it is a total retread, right? We're getting back to basics, just like we do with every new relaunch here. But for Iron Man, it's such a tired like thing because it's the same getting back to basics over and over. There's cool things that are coming through with this story, though. They're few and far between, though. What I like is the potential more so than the execution right now. Spencer Ackerman is the writer on this, and I've never seen his name before. So I was like, okay, well, what's this dude all about? What's he done before? What's his writing prowess? What viewpoint is he going to be coming from with this book? And he's never written any comics from my research on this. He's never had any kind of exposure to comic book writing. But what he does have exposure to is the journalism side. So he's a writer who's done prominent work for like big publications, and he's kind of done things that have primarily been about war and conflict, and he's kind of been in the trenches, and he's seen crazy stuff going on like right there because he's been doing investigative research on it and journalism. So knowing that he has a really, really unique perspective, it makes me cautiously optimistic for where this could go. Maybe this is a one issue fluke where it's like, okay, we're going to spin the wheels on this one and we're going to get him to a place where Spencer can really take off from here. But judging this book for what it is, I'm talking about Marvel because we have a Marvel section, guys. And that is very honestly and very truly the only reason that we're doing this. The artwork was honestly like super like mid. Like I'm crapping on it a little bit, but like Stu, would you disagree with me? Like this feels very much it feels bizarre, man. We have like a weird Tony.
Yeah, par for the course for Marvel as far as artwork's concerned. Like it feels like everything else they've been putting out lately. And yeah, it did. Like you said, I don't think that the story wasn't any brilliant rehashing of the Tony Stark, mantra or the spirit of the character. I think what you said rings very true, dude, about like this could definitely be the Batman of the Marvel universe if they wanted to. Like he's a super cool rich dude with a ton of toys, who's got an interesting complex character. And you could do a ton of different things with that. But yeah, just kind of seeing them go back to this thing where it feels like not only is it the same old story in the comics, it just feels like they're trying to like build on that Robert Downey Jr. in the cave type of energy, and it's just like that just feels so stale and outdated, and just it doesn't work across the board. So yeah, I don't know, man. I agree with everything you said, and I appreciate you falling on the sword for the House of Ideas, because I copped out and just did Rook Exodus instead. Yeah, but yeah, man. I feel like some weeks we're walking in here talking about a couple of books they had, like last week with Spidey Reign and Ultimate Spider-Man, and then there's weeks like this where we're forcing ourselves. And I said this before, like at the end of the last episode, it's I came home with like no Marvel books last week, so it's kind of crazy that I don't know, they're just so sporadic and all over the place. It doesn't feel unified at all like DC does. And I feel like it's really hit and miss, and they have their good pockets and good books here and there. But, overall, I feel like as a brand, it's getting hard to trust, considering, especially up against what DC's doing and Image.
Well, and it's interesting too. So like we had both talked about the comparison to Batman because it's kind of that archetypal character. Why is it that we consider Tony Stark this genius level character in the Marvel universe, right? We talk about Reed Richards, we talk about your boy Dr. Doom, and we talk about Tony up in that level. Why is Tony pitching an app to let people bet on superhero fights as his big pitch to get back into being like to owning this company and getting out of weapons manufacturing? And why does he keep losing his suits? And why do these things keep... If you're a genius level character, why isn't he like Batman, where he's 12 steps ahead of every single person, where he's playing chess and everyone else is playing checkers? Why do we keep playing Tony to be kind of a dimwit up until the point where he needs to not do that? It's frustrating, obviously.
Yeah, at like the like the cost of like the loved ones and everybody close to him, you know what I mean? Like it feels like it's always like when all those people's lives are on the line that he finally suits up and does a thing. But yeah, I don't know. Well said, man. But yeah, I don't know. They feel rudderless, I think, as a whole. especially that now that DC has a lot of their big players and their big books and visions in motion. I think they were kind of after the turnover of power and trying to find their own way, and with this new staff that they've had. I knew Marie, what's her name, Marie Javins, has been around for a while, but yeah, I feel like DC's really kind of settling in now to where Marvel just kind of feels like, I don't know, like, I don't want to say like they need somebody like Joe Quesada or like a chief creative officer, but I feel like who's really the creative direction, like as a whole. Brevoort seems occupied with X-Men, but is he really? I don't. It just seems so splintered, man. And they're wasting their best talent as far as editorial.
Dude, say it though. Like I think that's an apt like observation. Like they do need someone with some creative vision, and like it's a hard pill to swallow saying that CB is going to be that guy, because CB's been on the job for quite a while now. And what is the hallmark thing? What is the trademark thing that you can say that he put his stamp on to say this is what I'm going to hang my hat on as chief, or yes, whatever, as the head, EIC. I'm sorry, I couldn't think of the name. EIC of Marvel Comics. I can't think of what it is. Maybe Krakoa. That kind of crashed and burned though.
Yes, it did. And it's like, to me, it's so weird because now you have Hickman back in like this major capacity, right, across all these titles, and it's so weird that like you had him there at the beginning, and he could have taken that thing all the way through and seen it through, like Secret Wars or something like that. But like instead, you fumbled that ball, and then like you brought him back. So like he was kind of back with the company when all that was, they were trying to find their way out of it. You know what I mean? It just felt so weird to have the guy in what could have been like back with the company when you lost him in the first place. But yeah, I feel like it's I don't know. There's been a bunch of great possibilities, or what it could have, should have, but yeah, nothing like you said. There hasn't been that home run, man. There hasn't. What are they known for? But yeah, they need. I don't know. Well, it'll be interesting. I think they're definitely going to have to respond to all this DC news. I think they, they started to in a way at NYCC, but it'll, after they really digest it, and make some moves, it'll be interesting to see what happens in the future. Because they need a shakeup. Like, doesn't Feige have some type of creative role over there?
So when Joe officer, if my memory is correct, and he had a new title that was given to him as kind of like an honorary title on his way out. But Kevin Feige, for all intents and purposes, is the chief creative officer of all of Marvel, whether it's Marvel Studios, Marvel Animation, Marvel Comics. He's the dude. So I don't know. And it's been like that since Quesada left. So I don't know if this is the inner workings of all of Disneyfied Marvel, or if this is just really, I don't know, editorial, not knowing what to do with these characters. We know that the page rate for Marvel is like basically the lowest of the industry right now, and it shows. So I think they really just need to put their money where their mouth is, pony up, pay some creators, and get something rocking and rolling, because it's a disservice to these I don't know, characters that we love, that we grew up with, that we want to see do so well. I hate saying that I dislike Marvel books. I hate saying that I dislike books at all. But in particular, I'm a Marvel kid. I grew up with this stuff. The very first book that got me into Marvel was the Fireside freaking trade paperbacks, Son of Origins, Bring on the Bad Guys. That was my everything. I want Marvel to be my everything again, and it's just not. So please, for your boy, do something.
Marvel, are you going to make us start playing Boys to Men or something, Marvel? Please. We're sad. We miss you. Come back. It's not the end of the road yet. Let me get to the chat real quick before we move on to my Marvel pick. We had the homie Verno in here. Sal. Station. Yeah, it looks like
Station Sal.
Ironheart's armor. It does, doesn't it?
Well,
There
that was
was,
the Bendis one that he's wearing right there, which it was all over the place too. Like, and they didn't even have him wear the Mysterium armor, but they referenced it.
yeah, like
I don't
right
know.
at the
It was super
beginning.
bizarre.
Yeah, that caught me as bizarre too. It's like, why would you reference that? Like, um, if you're not gonna show it, I don't know. Homie Fable in the building,
Fable,
Rogue, Station Rogue. Always good to
Station
see
Rogue.
you, brother Joe. Station brother Joe.
What up, Joe?
All the homies coming through. Appreciate y'all. Hope everybody's doing well out there in TV land. We had the homie Nick, Eric's pick of the week.
Nick Gripe
Relentless.
of the week.
He's playing by the rules. I'm not, Nick. All right. That's what it comes down to. Nick and Fable like peanut butter and jelly. Get your jelly and my peanut butter. Station, y'all. Yeah, we really do need a new IC. Agreed, Sal.
It's time. And and that's the thing that like gives me a little bit of hope is that the best Marvel that we've gotten through the decades has been right after Marvel has been at its absolute lowest, right? They file for bankruptcy, we get Marvel Knights, right? They almost close shop and they create Spider-Man. So I feel like we're low. I feel like we're pretty darn low right now. Like let's see the light at the end of the tunnel. Let's do something. And I'm not calling for a firing, but like guys, take your job seriously. Like, all right, put your nose to the grindstone, do the work. Let's get some really great books.
Yeah. Amen. Well said. Like Simple just said, Marvel is our everything once.
Yeah.
Bring it back. All right, moving on. Rook Exodus number 6 was I had, there were so many great indie books this week. So definitely wanted to make sure. Yeah, definitely wanted to make sure we gave as many of those love as we properly could. First off, I just want to shout out Ghost Machine on one hell of a year. Jeff Johns had a post today on IG about the previous NYCC kind of being their get ready to go convention, and then this past year has been fantastic from them. Just from everything before, like Geiger, but then also Junkyard Joe, which was super amazing for me. The second volume of Geiger has been incredible. I've enjoyed it more than the first. Then Redcoat, which is just a wonderful sarcastic take on American history. That book was just so much fun all the way through. Hitch had some really fun moments on that. We have this new horrific promise in Hyde Street #1. And last but not least here, such beautiful and consistent work from both Johnson, Fabak, and Rook Exodus, man. We had Batman, 3 Jokers, and I was just blown away by Fabak. I really didn't know his art or who he was up until that point, and that art blew me away and just wanted more of that creative team after that. And just this series here has over-delivered on my expectations. And this conclusion of the first story arc was fantastic, dude, and everything I could have asked for. So I definitely wanted to throw it on the list, dude. Just before we get into it, E, how have you felt about Ghost Machine, and what have been some of your favorites from this incredible roster of creators?
Dude, Ghost Machine has put out consistently some of my favorite books throughout this entire year, right? And I got to give kudos where kudos is due, because I didn't have high expectations. I figured it would be sound work, but Jeff Johns, like, to be honest with you, I kept trying to dive in with his work at DC, and every time I tried to dive in, maybe I was picking the wrong things, but like it just didn't hit with me. It didn't work. Something wasn't clicking. So when I heard that this was all happening, it was a little bit like, okay, well, I'll see what it's about, but like I kind of know what this guy's all about, so this isn't going to be for me. And every single book has been for me. This in particular, Rook, has been the one where I was just like very much like poo-pooing on it, where to the point where I was like, I don't want to watch these Power Rangers that control animals. Like, this seems so hokey and like and boring. And I love this book. Like, I can't say it's my favorite. I think Redcoat has still been my absolute favorite of amongst all of the Ghost Machine books. But dude, Rook came in swinging, and it didn't stop. It pummeled itself, like on me out. It was just like, you will like me, and I will make sure that it's happening. So I just took haymaker after haymaker, and finally I was like, I give up. You're good. I like you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. What about Redcoat has put it at the top for you?
It's like, it's just fun, right? It's like some books you just want to sit down and you don't want to think too much. Like, you're not looking for like a Hickman-esque book where it's really weighty and you're like the solution for everything kind of books. Sometimes you just want to have a good time.
Yeah.
And like the silly bombastic nature of like the historical events that happen and our like reluctant hero of that story, like throughout like the first arc, like up until the very end point, basically, where he's just like, nah, this ain't for me. You go fight your war. I'm good over here. So if you need me, I'll be drinking. I just like that fun character and the fun nature of all of the silliness in that book. So
Yeah. Oh, it's like, oh shit, it's Benedict Arnold. Of course
well,
it's
yeah.
Benedict Arnold. You know what I mean? Or
Yeah.
George Washington's crazy. Yeah, it's wild. Yeah, dude. So shout out to Jeff Johns, Ghost Machine and Company for an outstanding first year, dude. And
Yeah,
great entry into the
bravo.
marketplace. Yeah. Wish you guys all the success moving forward, because it's just been great comic books so far. So we appreciate it as fans. Yeah, dude. So issue 6, like I said, end of the first arc. The last Rook book, unfortunately, we'll probably get this year. I know they're coming back in 2025 with more. And I'm sure he's not I don't feel like Fabic's quick with the turnaround. You know what I mean? I feel like
No.
he dude does not he weighs narrow line. So but regardless, I'm here for them whenever they come back. But because they stuck the landing very well right here. And it opens with a great action scene. We got great action throughout, but I just love how it opens up and we get to see Rook moving in sync with the birds, and then eventually being able to operate without them. But we got our inevitable Rook versus Ursal showdown, and that was super dope to see, dude.
It was everything, man. It was so
right?
good.
And it's like, he was beating on him pretty good, snatch his helmet off, and like the birds were still able to come to his aid. And I love the moment he had, like, one of the birds who attacked Ursal got slapped around and lost an eye, and that ended up becoming his it's the leader of the flock that ended up becoming his buddy.
Yeah.
He named him Poe. You see it there in the top left panel. Just one of my favorite moments of the comic. But yeah, it was just dope. Like to go like where he was at the beginning of the series to the relationships he's formed with these animals, to like where they're really part of him in a spiritual sense, and he's thanking them, and they're like kind of acting without him having to have that helmet or that interface is just been a beautiful part of Rook's art for me. And it's just been cool, like the way they've chosen to use the birds and display that connection, and like how to amplify Rook's abilities with it. You know what I mean? Like a flock of crows isn't as intimidating as like 3 or 4 bears. You know what I mean? But they still find a way to make the birds a force to be reckoned with, and I think that was super dope. But yeah, not only does our boy defeat Ursal, he rescues Direwolf and our turtle guy Carapace, and they learn some crazy info. Right, our boy Ursal, he don't have a face. His helmet is his face. And he got here 4 months ago, and he was sent from Better World. So like super wild revelation there at the end. And not only that, but we find out Direwolf's father is the only one who can fix the world engine, who has the knowledge to do so. But he's codenamed Bloodhound, and he's out there in the wild somewhere in the north. I like how he's in the north. It reminds me of Game of Thrones for some reason. You know what I mean? They gotta go into Stark territory and find the Bloodhound. But yeah, dude, just such a satisfying ending. We got our one-on-one. Ursal's defeated, down, but still around, which is good because I want to know more about him. We also get this great mystery moving on into the second volume. But yeah, dude, Rook Exodus just just I feel like landed it in every way as far as like bringing it home, giving us everything we wanted. Great character resolutions from both the supporting cast to our main guys here. And yeah, I don't, I'm looking forward to when they come back in 2025, dude. How did you feel about the ending here?
It was perfect. It was like it did everything it needed to, like I said, to like turn me around. Like the series has done it issue over issue, but like I talked about the fact like this is so stupid. Helmets that let you talk to animals, and by the end of this issue, I'm sitting there going, "Get them, birds! Get them! You don't need your helmet, Rook. You don't need it anymore. You own this."
You're free.
Yeah, I was like, "Oh my god." I'm that guy now. I do that, but the book earned it, man. It was just so beautiful, and like, and
Amen,
it
dude.
whet your appetite so perfectly at the end to make you want the next issue next month, and we're not going to get it. So like, I'm just ready. I want it to be 2025 already, so that we can enjoy this like another issue of this. I want to live in this world again. So
I know.
it was
So
good. It was
good,
really
dude.
good.
Yeah, shout out to the team, dude. Can't wait till they come back. But
Yeah.
such a great 6 issues, and not a bad piece of art, and near one of those issues or panels, or it just so many explosive panels with the bears rising up to attack, and like that's what I'm just gonna remember about this first volume, dude. Is like all those epic character introductions, Ursal with the axe, and just such a killer job by this team. So yeah, man.
Yep.
All right, bro. Moving on to DC. Uh, yeah, just a great week of books again from them. You wanted to start with Zaytan or Bring Down the House? Number
Yes, yeah,
5.
I absolutely do because this series blew me away. This issue blew me away. I was completely taken aback by this. There are some things from DC that I anticipated really like getting into and loving. Absolute stuff, right? Like we have the trinity of characters that are just really fantastic. DC is just they're doing really good work. And like this was something that like came out of left field. And I was like, oh, like this is different than everything else they're doing, but it's the thing that they do so well, which is making evergreen stories and good jumping on points. If you just like a character and you want to know more about that character, if anyone asks me like, hey, what's the best place to like learn about Zatanna, like where are you going to go, this is the series. Like, because I didn't know anything about her besides the fact she's a magician. That's about it. That's all I really knew, right?
Yeah, same.
So yeah, this was a great origin story. This is a great heroic journey. And this was a great finale to the series that was like a true showcase for beautiful artwork by Javier Rodriguez. Yeah, it was just awesome. Like anytime you're working with magic, I feel like if an artist sees that, they must immediately know, okay, I get to have a lot of fun now because who the heck knows what I'm gonna have the chance to draw. It's gonna be silly, it's gonna be zany, and I'm gonna be able to like really just blow things away. This story, it's kind of fun because it takes us kind of back to the days of Zatanna being a child when she, I don't know, exiled her father, killed her father, was basically punished for using magic by way of her magic being depleted and her father somewhat kind of being thought of as to die. Javier does absolutely fantastic work here as they kind of travel through this portal and are kind of represented in this time zone or this time frame where she's a teenager again. She got the busted hat. Yeah, her companion is kind of trying to follow her way through there. And we get to see, like I said, the epic fight now, because what she's really doing, and again, it's kind of like the hero's journey. She's having to face her fears, face the past, face the revelations of what truly happened, which was that her father wasn't really killed by her magical, whatever powers. He was killed because he was trying to steal her magic powers and couldn't rein them in because she just happened to be that freaking powerful. I love the messaging behind that. I love the way that's portrayed. Like, look at this. Like, if you would have told me that there was like going to be like giant mouths erupting out of the ground, which then spew out, like weird magical zombie creatures, like, nope, wouldn't have expected that. But here it is, and I love it. It's fantastic. If you would have told me there would have been Picasso-like magicians that needed to fight, nope, wouldn't have expected it. But here it is, and it's awesome. I love it. It just delivered on every single aspect of it. obviously, with it being a hero's journey type story, our hero does prevail at the end. I don't think that's a spoiler by any means because we know what we're getting. Zatanna does prevail. It happens, right? But the way she does, the way that she grows as a character, and the way that she kind of walks away from this story, man, it makes me have a new appreciation for Mariko Tamaki because I wasn't totally familiar with her work previously, but the dialogue came off so natural and the story was so fun. It makes me want to go back and reread some of her other work that I skipped out on because super curious at this point. Javier took it to another level. I mean, and you know what? And on top of that, the letters on this page too. Hassan Atzman Al,
Yeah, dude.
absolutely fantastic. Like, oh, look at the scratchy words when it comes to like the quote unquote demonic kind of magic that's being conjured here. Oh, it's so good. Everything works in conjunction. It's just like it's just the right team for the right story at the right time. And like I'm sad to see it go, but I'll be so happy when it comes out with a hardcover because I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna reread the
Right?
story and I'm gonna enjoy it probably even more so. God forbid if they put an artist edition out, dude, we're done. Like I'm getting it.
That would be beautiful. Absolutely.
Yeah. But yeah, you read this too, right?
Absolutely, dude. Yeah, I've been a big fan of this book for a minute. Yeah, dude. Speaking of like sticking the landing, I thought this was an amazing conclusion. Like you said, Rodriguez really elevating the story. This felt like Morrison's Doom Patrol in some parts.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? Like I just love how the artwork changed there at the end. Like you have here on the on that top right panel. Yeah, dude. I love how she gets morphed back in her childhood self, but she's still super powerful. Morphing everything into different inanimate objects, and
Yeah.
what's next? The garage sale. But yeah, like you said, dude, I thought like the way they brought the message of, um, you know, her father was trying to contain her and that she was just too big for him, and I'm bigger than you was like one of her backwards spells that got things rolling. And I just thought that was, I just thought it was a beautiful way to bring it all home. And it didn't, it didn't feel rushed. And it felt super true to everything that has made me fall in love with this series in the previous 4 issues. So I loved it, dude. And like you said, just one of the best things DC's done this year. Can't wait for the hardcover. Hope we get the artist edition, all that stuff. But
oh yeah.
Well,
and the other crazy thing about this issue too is that I'm glad that you said that it didn't feel rushed because I heard some of the critiques out there for this issue was that things kind of wrap up pretty quickly. And like, yeah, they kind of do, but I think that this issue also does enough to like they give us a satisfying first half of the issue where it kind of like wraps up the story of Zatanna solving the problem, right? Like she confronts her father, she, finishes that part of it, she grows into this new individual. But then we get the epilogue of the story, kind of the second half of the issue where it sets up everything else. It's like, okay, this happened. Now we're here. She's kind of reestablished herself as a magician. She's established the fact that, hey, she does wield these powers. She's not this like, person that's running away from her past. She's got this newfound confidence. We get a little snippet of John Constantine again. So like,
yeah,
it just
and I
did
love
such a
how
good
he's reading.
job.
I love how Constantine's reading about her on the sidewalk cafe. But yeah, like you said, and then you have not to spoil it, but to spoil it, like you got the the more responsible and mature superheroes waiting in the wings to talk to her. I just thought it was a great way to bring it all home, dude. Yeah, well said. But dude, it's just the colors alone, just the color work. It's just some of my favorite color work of the entire year. It's just been such a joy to experience it and see what kind of decisions that he was going to make throughout. But yeah, shout out to everyone involved again. Such a beautiful book. Let's get to the chat real quick before we move on with DC.
Yeah, it's been popping off there.
Yeah, absolutely. Sal says we really need a new EIC. Amen, bro. I don't know if I can even read the comics, right?
I mean, to be fair, like, does he even have time to read the comics? I don't know.
Who knows? That's very true. Very true. Rogue says Rook has been so good. The art alone is worth it. Amen, brother. Geiger is probably still my favorite with Rook and second. Dude, the 2 issues in Geiger in this volume with the electrician fight and the other one with the Zoo Tale have been 2 of my favorite like single issue comic books of the year. Definitely up there in the conversation. Absolutely. Never thought I'd have a Zatanna book in my top DC books of the year, but it's been so good. Yeah, amen, bro.
Yeah.
We got our homie Holly in the comics station, bro. Good to see you.
What up,
yeah,
Nate?
man. Made it in time for DC. Marvel was just Iron Man and Rook Exodus. So you didn't miss much Marvel, brother.
Yeah. Rook Exodus, best Marvel book of the week.
yeah, he's gonna get a trade or a hard copy of this. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, so worth it.
Yeah, Zatanna's costume has been dope, brother Joe. I agree.
Zatanna might be looking for an assistant, a magical assistant there, Joe. I know you
go,
got a little bit
Joe.
of a background in entertainment. Just saying.
Ooh, Bro Joe wants to see her in versus Doctor Strange. I like it.
I'd pay money to see that.
There you go. And something said, just so you know, DC Deluxe books aren't typically so binding.
Ooh. Make books that Simpleton likes.
Right? Exactly. He said, why wait for a hardcover? Make your own. Amen, brother.
Oh,
all right.
Easier said than done for some of us.
Absolute Wonder Woman #1 had to be my DC pick, right? We had to talk about this book.
Yes.
Such a great follow-up to the DC All-In movement in the Absolute line. We got Kelly Thompson on writing, Hayden Sherman on art, Jordi Belair on colors, and Becca Carey on letters. And this was a fantastic opening salvo, dude. I feel like their momentum is so good over there. How did you just, before we get into it, did this one meet your expectations? How are you feeling? Are you hyped about the Absolute line going into this one? You all in?
Dude,
all in?
Yes, I am. It's wild, man. Like I just like I said, I was a Marvel kid growing up, man. So like DC has like very rarely struck those right chords with me. Grant Morrison's Batman run definitely did it. I hate to say Grant Morrison again, but Grant Morrison's All-Star Superman, that was like a hallmark for me where I was like, okay, I can get into this version of DC. I really loved the 90s Ron Mars Green Lantern issues. But like it's never really kind of held strong for me, and it's never really developed this like huge level of excitement. There's 2 times that it's happened in the recent past. Future State, which like hardcore DC fans that were already in existence were kind of like, nah, we don't want this. I did. And now Absolute or DC All In, dude, like it's doing something right, because like there's so many DC books right now that like if they're not pick of the week material, they're like right on the cusp for me. Like, and this is definitely one of them. This lived up to every expectation and exceeded a couple.
Hell yeah, dude. I love that you're a Future State fan, by the way. I love that you
Future State was awesome. Okay, Future State rocked, and it did not get the credit that it deserved, man. Like, they could have taken that to places, and they, for whatever reason, it didn't happen, and that's okay.
You know what I really did enjoy from that time? They had a Tales from the Dark Multiverse. Do you remember that?
Yeah. It was kind of like their like dark what if.
Yes, exactly. They had a couple really good tales in there. I really enjoyed that little line. I don't know if that was officially part of Future State or not, but I just remember it in that general haze of time, I guess. But yeah, what was your favorite Future State book or title? Like, do you have one that stands out above the rest? I'm curious because I'm trying to think of any Future State books that I remember. I was like really curious about that Dark Detective when it started, but I
like Swamp Thing, honestly, and that's such a cop-out answer for me because it was written by Ram V. And
that's legit. No, that's a good.
But
one.
It was, yeah,
that's a great one. Hell yeah, hell yeah, Future State, dude. That might have to be a future episode. You know what I mean? We have to do it. All right, but yeah, getting back to the chicken here. So far, Absolute Batman feels like the gift that keeps on giving, but this is the one I think that really raised an eyebrow or two and really piqued people's interest. And I thought the whole concept was brilliant of Diana not knowing her tribe or her people, being raised in hell. I think that's really going to pay brilliant dividends for them down the line. And I love how they go back and forth between like the past and her origin story, as it were, in a modern day bit of ass kicking against this Harbinger Prime
Yeah.
character in Gateway City, right? So yeah, we open up with the attack on Gateway City, which he defends in a really cool way, and drops a couple cool quotables. But then, I just love the part in the early part in the beginning where Apollo is dropping her off in hell, in the care of Cersei, banning the word Amazon. So obviously he and the gods are scared of of her and her people. Something's happened. We don't know what it is, but they're definitely fearful. Which piques my interest. But yeah, I just love this. For me, this I don't know about you, but this beginning sequence with the snake where Cersei was just going to let nature take its course and Diana grabbed the snake and touched it away. I just love that. You know what I mean? And Cersei's like, all right, maybe there's more to this girl than I first thought. Right. And quickly Diana comes of age in hell. And I'd love how, Kelly Thompson has her as this kind of leading figure for all these broken and damned souls. They're all attracted to her, right? She has a soft way with, even in the harshest of environments. I thought that was really beautiful and true to the character. But she's still a formidable force, and she's a warden for these lost souls. She's a protector above all else. But I just love that line with, in that sequence where we see kind of Diana growing up, Thompson had that line, how you fall in love with a child is by raising it. I thought
Raising
that
a
was
child. Oh,
yeah, that was
yes.
beautiful, dude. So well written. And she's got another line we'll get to at the end. But yeah, so in the present, she's kicking ass. She's riding a skeletal Pegasus, right? She's got these glowing red eyes and is armed with the Athena blade forged by Hephaestus, and she faces off against this creature who's trying to blast her into oblivion. And this, I thought, is where Hayden Sherman really came to play. Is where during this fight, his artwork here and the way he set up some of these panels, it was just fantastic, dude. Some of these page designs and layouts were just so much fun to read and experience. So definitely my favorite part of the comic here towards the end, besides that little beginning salvo we were talking about. But she's regardless, she's battered and bruised, but I love her declarative revelation here at the end. It's Shakespearean-esque for me. I am Diana of Themyscira, last of the Amazons, daughter of Circe, princess of hell, witch of the Wild Isle, and you will not have this world as long as I still draw breath. You know what I mean? I love, dude. I'm all for give me the 800 titles. I love that. Always works for me. Like we were talking about before with Game of Thrones, it felt very much in that tone. But yeah, such a fantastic opening book. I thought it was just genius to put her in hell, have her raised by Cersei, and the way they did that, but still remain true to who Diana is, but also let Sherman's artwork shine throughout. And Kelly Thompson with so many quotables, straight poetry, I thought in some sections, dude. This one was a winner for me, just as strong, if not stronger than Absolute Batman. And I can't wait. I don't know when the follow-up is. Is it going to be another week or two before we get Absolute Superman? But definitely, I think Absolute Superman has its work cut out for them. I would not want to go last in this trinity.
No kidding. And no, I think we get Absolute Superman November 6th is when that one drops here. So that's not going to be this week's comics, tomorrow's comics, I should say, but it's going to be next week. It has heavy lifting to do, because in my personal opinion, this was the one. This was the top book. This one just did everything and more for the Absolute universe. And you're right, it hit every one of those things that I really wanted. It developed the character. Kelly Thompson's writing, the story arc, the arc of the single issue here was absolutely perfect. I love how they show a growing Diana, as well as the mother character as she like grows to love this child and raise her to the point where like there's that epic moment of defiance where she's just like, say what you are. I can't say the word for you. You need to say it. Say what you are. And she finally says the word. Oh, dude, it
Yeah,
did
it's so
everything for me. I
beautiful, right?
loved it so much. And Hayden Sherman's artwork, which we haven't given anywhere near enough credit for, is just so awesome. Like the way that they've like grown as an artist and just changed and done different tactics and different things. Like if you look at their artwork in the past, it was like it had a very Ashley Wood kind of approach to it, very sketchy, very loose, basically. And what we're getting now with books like this and Unto the Unbeing, totally different, but totally appropriate for the story that's being told. Man, Hayden Sherman, one of my favorite artists. Man, I can't say like one of the best, and in my opinion, it would be that way, but like one of my favorite artists in current comic books right now.
Yeah, well said, bro. Real quick, we got Damien in the house, Sleepy Station. He said my favorite parts were her being raised by Cersei. Yeah, I love how,
yes, absolutely.
You know, she's first Apollo's first whole handing down the child, and she's reaching up with like, I don't know what it is, blood and guts or something all over your arms and hands. Like it's so.
She's basically like holding her up by the ankle, you know, it's kind of like, what am I supposed to do with this?
Nick says, Absolute Wonder Woman. Excuse me, I'm reading Sal's Ultimate Wonder Woman. Absolute Wonder Woman did a better job compared to Absolute Bat. At telling the readers what's going on with this character, showcasing powers or abilities, and included a quick origin as well. Yeah, I thought the little time jump was really effective and worked well. So, shout out again to all involved, man. So many great books. All right, heading over into. We're gonna paddle on over to Indie Island, dude. And man, this was.
Speaking of great books,
God, like right, this is crazy. We got all these books this week because this book was so good. Yeah, so good. Yeah. This was one of the best books of the month, like honestly. And you know, I don't want to say the absolute best book of the week because there were so many bangers, and I want to take some time with all these great works of art. You know what I mean? But
come on, man, come on, make a split decision, man. What would your pick of the week be? Tell me.
I think this one would be like this one. I finished this one and I was like, this is like, man, this is book of the month talk. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's some books like you close the last page, right? You close the book and you set it down, and you guys got to go take a lap around the house. Right? You just got to you just gotta think about it, like man, what did I just read? Was that really that good? It was that good.
Yeah, dude,
it was awesome.
Like, you and I are both parents, and we'll get into it, but I think
yes,
being in that situation definitely helps.
Yeah, let's go ahead and dive into this bad boy because it's worth talking about. So Daniel Warren Johnson, he did way more of the heavy lifting on this issue than I anticipated. I love that they're taking the approach where they're splitting those artistic duties in a way that's not making it like jarring or overwhelming when they happen. It's a very thoughtful, nuanced way to go about it. Not totally new, right? Like it's nothing inventive necessarily, but they're being thoughtful in the way that they're doing it. This, we get like 90% of the story in the real world, and the real world duties are all taken care of by Daniel Warren Johnson. And it's heart-wrenching. And like you said, we're both parents, and if you are a parent and you're reading this issue, it's going to pull on some heartstrings for sure, because you will do anything for your child. And their parental characters in this do anything for their child, right? And they're put into an unenviable situation, to put it lightly, where their child is basically in an eternal, everlasting dream state. They cannot wake up. They're not dying necessarily, but they're not waking up. Their body isn't allowing them. It's almost like sleep paralysis, but where the brain is stuck in this active dream state as well. So really interesting notion behind that. The doctors don't know what to do. They're kind of having this back and forth, and they're being really, really coy about it. Like, oh, we've never seen this. And they're almost like excited about it. And the parents are like, F you, dude. This is our child you're talking about. Like, don't get excited about the test you're going to run. Fix the problem. And when the thing that I said is, when in my review on this, is that when the illogical becomes the only logical solution, like you jump at it, you leap at it, and you grasp at it wholeheartedly, right, with both hands, and you don't let go of it. And that's exactly what happens in this issue. So they get to talk to these doctors. A mysterious owl shows up and gives the mother a note that basically says, we know what's going on. We know how to fix this problem. Come up to the roof. I don't want anything terrible to happen to my child, but I do want an owl to give me a note, maybe for some cool reason rather than some like, hazardous reason. Like I
Yeah.
want that in my life. I want to see that happen because that
I've
seems so amazing.
I've seen Harry Potter, you know what I mean? Like,
I don't want to go to some magic school, but just a little note. Just a little note's all I need. Like give me some winning lottery numbers or something like that. That'd be cool. So they get to do this and they meet up with this fantastical character that basically says, "Okay, your daughter's stuck in this dream. It's basically a dream virus. The only way to combat this is to do battle with the virus in the dream state itself. Come with me if you want to live, if you want your daughter to live." So they go through this magical portal, and I love how that's the transition state that takes us from Daniel Warren Johnson artwork down into Riley Rossmo artwork. Beautiful. It's just done so beautifully because the artistic qualities are still there and it's very distinctly Daniel Warren Johnson or Riley Rossmo, but the character models are still so on point and so apropos to each other that nothing feels out of place and nothing feels jarring or just different. It's the same character model, stylistically different. It's just very, like I said, very thoughtfully done. And when they get there, I loved all the dreamlike characters that we get to see
yes.
and meet. And like in their counterparts in the real world, we get to see the frog doll that's missing the little button eye. And we get to see him here. And he's like this like disheveled, like hardened war veteran with an eye patch, like a Nick
Yeah.
Fury kind of
Yeah.
character almost.
I love how
Oh,
they tell him his origin. Like, yeah, we dropped you at a truck stop and somebody like they ran over you and you lost an eye. And he's like, okay. Like he's like
yeah. Yeah.
it's so great. I love that back and forth. Yeah. That's
Yeah,
fun.
but all these different like memories that their child had and the personification of those memories or those toys she had or whatever the case may be, all these dream state things in conjunction with the real life, juxtaposition of those things was just like again, it was done so beautifully, artistically, like it's just fun, exciting, kinetic, everything. It's so hard to describe how this comic can be as beautiful as it is without just experiencing it and living it and flipping through these pages because like I can't do it justice. I seriously can. I couldn't do it for issue 1. I can't do it with issue 2. I think it's just one of those things that you gotta like pick up and experience. Like put your hard-earned money down because they're earning your money in the same way that I was talking about other creators and other publishers not earning your dollar. This is earning your dollar and more so. Like
Yeah.
it's beautiful. It's only 2 issues in, and it's one of those stories that I know I'm going to be in for the long run, and it's going to be another one of Daniel Warren Johnson's and Riley Rossmo's at this point, one of their bangers, one of their top tier books that we come to like expect at this point. And like we've gotten 3 of them right now for Daniel Warren Johnson. 3. How does he keep up with this pace and deliver these stories? Like I can't figure it out in my head how he's
He
able to
drew
do this.
a good bit of this like issue, like compared to only a few pages on issue 1. Man, he drew a considerable amount here. So yeah, I was very
Yeah.
impressed with that as well. Yeah, dude, but you said it so well, man. It's this one was heavy, and I feel like it's such a this one definitely brought me in more so than issue 1 as far as like the stakes. I just thought starting off with like they're basically their perfect day with their daughter, right? They're going through the park and they're watching a movie together and all that stuff. And then I think if you ever like, at least with me, if you ever had an incident with your kid where you've had to take him to the ER or the doctor in the middle of the night or anything like that,
Yep.
when she woke up and was screaming for him and like they were trying to figure out what was going on, man, that terror there is nothing like it. And I thought that was communicated so effectively. And like you said it so beautifully in your on the pull list review on Monday, dude. Like there's nothing like there's no leaps of logic too far. There's no bridge too far when it comes to protecting your child and wanting to do the most for them. And I think that's like the biggest pull for this. And I with a lot of Daniel Warren Johnson stories, it's going to be emotional and heartrending, but man, you can see really like you can see this forecast coming, man. There's going to be a lot of rain in this sucker, dude. I feel like there's going to be a lot of tears shed. Like this one is credible, but like as far as the second issue, this one was perfect to me, and like this is the one I would give to people to try to recruit them to get on this book and get on this
Yeah.
title. But yeah, I thought, like you said, the execution between the blending between styles and aesthetics and has been fantastic. And it was very cool to meet like all those, you know, stuffed animals, like TV characters, all those like characters who had you know, vague ties to her childhood. So yeah, man,
Yeah.
I can't wait to till like, you know, they get further in and hopefully they find her and we try to get to what's going on, because I know it's going to be high stakes. God, oh, I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna cry like a baby, like every issue I feel like of this. But yeah, man, this one was like such a brilliant issue for me.
Well, and shout out to Nick and Sleepy in the chat here, because we neither one of us spoke about this high enough. How about Mike Spicer's
Yes,
colors? Great
bravo,
color. Like,
fellows.
you guys, yeah, absolutely. And
And
Brother Joe too. It is interesting. Absolutely interesting. Yeah, Mike
Brother
Spicer,
Joe,
he go for it.
real quick, Brother Joe did say, you know, Eric, would you say it sounds like someone in the hospital fighting for their life during an operation? It definitely feels like that, Brother Joe. Like
Yeah.
it definitely feels life and death like that, you know, and these parents are trying to do everything they can for their child. So I think any of us who, you know, who have kids can understand and relate to that. But yeah, go ahead. Sorry. I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, one of the undersung colorists, like in the world where I feel like Jordi Belair honestly probably gets the highest praise the most often. And it's, I'm not saying it's not earned. Like, I love Jordi Belair's artwork, or I'm sorry, her colors, but, and in fact, we've talked about issues that she's done just recently. Mike Spicer, dude, like, works primarily on almost every single Daniel Warren Johnson, if not every single Daniel Warren Johnson product. And every single one is colored in an outstanding, appropriate way. Like,
Absolutely,
really
dude.
striking, really visually exciting. And you could tell from that panel on the left here too, as they transition from the different artistic choices into the dream state. That's gorgeous looking. That is not, that is, it's really good. So kudos to you guys for calling that out when we didn't. We were taking a nap on the job here, apparently.
Yes, absolutely. All right. Yeah, great pick. I can't wait for, I don't know how many issues total we have for this one, but I cannot wait for issue 3.
Yeah, same.
All right, dude. Our other indie pick had to visit this one. Mike Walsh had such a great this week, as we'll get to with this one and our pick after it. But yeah, Universal Monsters Frankenstein #3 came out. You talk about amazing color work, man. Tony Marie Griffin, some of the work she's doing here, absolutely brilliant. But yeah, Mike Walsh writing and drawing this bad boy. And like I said, man, he really came back with a vengeance. This and the launch of Null Hunter. But this might have been my favorite. Yeah, this might have been my favorite of the run so far. Incredible cover here. I just love it so much. And again, the art throughout has been fantastic. I love what he chooses to choose, like what he chooses to show you with each panel, and how he really builds suspense that way. And like I said, Tony Murray Griffin has been a highlight throughout this series. Here at the beginning of the issue, it's saturated in purple. We get the lively, warm arrival of Elizabeth. She's being nice to the boy. You know, that kindness is evident. And then we get Frankenstein and what's going on with them trying to confront him, and it's blue and green, and their vain attempts to try to put an end to that creature. And then we get like she brings it back to the pinks when we get into the hurried and forced marriage of Henry and Elizabeth. And yeah, I just love how she kind of chooses to, you know, use different colors throughout the palette and kind of saturate these different scenes in it. I think it's it gives such emotion and vibrancy to the comic book and the storytelling. And I like early on, I feel like she in issues 1 and 2, like we got some green when we saw some hints of jealousy. I just love how it's very emotional. And I just like, it's one of the elements of this story that I've appreciated the most. So I just wanted to single her out and show her some love at the beginning. But I just love the way she kind of carried this through 4 or 5 acts with her colors. But yeah, there's also great writing, you know, with Henry trying to trying to tell Elizabeth what they could, they try to clean everything up with Frankenstein and force Henry into this marriage. And he tells her, I've stared into infinity, woman. How could I expect you to understand? And then, finally the news at the end of the ceremony, or, as they're about to be married, that Frankie's escaped. And I love how we get that. We tied the beginning of the issue with our lover's heart, right? Who was originally pining after Elizabeth. That's inside Frankenstein, dude. That scene where he walks up and everybody runs out and they're chasing out in the woods after Frankenstein, but really he's there, and Elizabeth turns around, he's right there with her, and he reaches out and grabs her hand and puts it to his heart, and it's like she faints. It's so beautiful, right? It's just chef's kiss. I had no notes for that. I thought it was fantastic. What did you want to say? I'm sorry.
No, just everything is done with such a subtle touch, whether it's the narration, whether it's the color work, whether it's the artistic choices, right? Like nothing is forced, nothing is rushed. Like everything, Michael Walsh has done a fantastic job at leaving this it's like a very Spartan approach. He's only giving you what you absolutely need. He's highlighting the right moments. And it's the same thing with the color work. Everything is a soft palette, but the palette is done just so perfect and so right, bringing the warmth in certain scenes, bringing the darkness, the depth, right? The sickliness of the other aspect of these things. His writing in this, though, I think that I agree with you wholeheartedly. This is the best written issue of the series so far. I love the warmth and the charm and the love and care that comes off of Elizabeth, and how that plays off of like everything that is in this version Henry Frankenstein. Am I correct on that?
Yes.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So yeah, I love how but it takes the time to tell the story behind that and the reason why she loves this man so much and how he has changed and what's made him change, because it gives you another level of compassion, and it's not just like, girl, run, this guy's bad for you kind of situation. Like, it's like, no, there's I don't know, there's trust and there's loyalty and there's compassion there from her, and she's not going to just abandon him because she knows the man he can be and the man that he has been. And it makes it just that much more tragic knowing all of the things that are transpiring and the things that are coming down the pipeline. It was just a beautifully paced issue, and that's been the strength of this series so far, is giving you all the hallmark moments that you want from the movie and from the history that you have with Frankenstein, but giving you all of the subtlety and all of the nuance that like just makes it such a deep, fascinating story, and like gives you that level of care for these characters.
Absolutely, dude. The way now we have her invested with Frankenstein because of this guy's heart, right? And we have the boy invested with Frankenstein because of his hands. Like the way he's been able to pull like all the parts of this creature and into like all these human investments in the character has been brilliant. I thought, like, and such a great way to put a new twist on like on an old tale, an old classic, really. But yeah, dude, this book has been fantastic, start to finish, and highly recommend it. I think we're coming to a close here with issue 4, right? All these Universal series, I think, are 4 issues.
I think they wrap up at 4.
I'm pretty sure. See. My bad, guys. I should get these cutoffs before we go live.
Frankenstein. Yeah, issue number 4. So next month we're gonna have to cap this off and say goodbye to Frankenstein. Well, Frankie.
Oh yeah, but been a great run, man. This has been a standout along with Dracula. So shout out to all involved. All right, I guess that'll do it for comic books this week, bro. Do you want to get into our covers real quick?
I think we definitely should. Why don't you go ahead and kick us off?
Yeah, man. Speaking of Frankenstein, I had to go with Francavilla's variant for number 3 here. Just love it. He's got this little diagram of the heart here in the foreground. I just love that, man. One of my favorite horror artists out there. He's been perfect on this book. This book has had a lot of variants. There's also another great one from Tedesco who did some great Daredevil covers during that Zdarsky
I have not seen that one.
Oh, dude, that one. I was almost picked that one. I was so close to picking that one, but yeah.
Man.
I ended up going Francavilla. And my number 2 because I'm special like that, was Jim Mahfood's incentive variant for Tom Scioli's
I feel like we
Masterpiece
talked about him
Theater.
recently.
Right? Dude, this one's a little pricey, so I wasn't able to cop it, but man, such a great piece of art from an indie legend. But yeah, definitely enjoyed this read nonetheless from Scioli. It was, like you said, ultra niche, super niche, niche on niche,
Super niche. Yes. The
but
most niche.
still a lot of fun, man. I just love seeing whatever Tom's going to do. I'm here for whatever Tom's going to do. He has so much fun with that, and I just love what he represents and what he's influenced by. So always got time for Mr. What is it? Scioli?
Scioli. Yeah, Scioli.
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 All right, E. Your choice, bro. Go ahead.
I mean, I had to put my money where my mouth is. I had already shown this off last week. I mean, like there's a lot of awesome covers that came out, but only one of them like actually grabbed my wallet's attention. So Dan Panosian had to get my pick, man. I love this interpretation of Diana. We already talked about the issue. It lived up to all the hype that the issue delivered. So like this was just killing it. This is absolutely like stunning work. I loved this variant. So I'm a cover A dude, but this one made me think twice, so I had to go pick this one up.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Dan's been really killing it. Got a Killer Doom cover coming out shortly. He's been on fire lately. So
He's got those Midtown exclusives for all of the absolute number ones as well. They got connecting covers for Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. They look pretty awesome, and they're not terribly expensive. They're maybe $15 a piece, I think, but they still look pretty awesome.
Yeah, hell yeah. All right, so for our book out of the blue this week, speaking of Mike Walsh, dude, Null Hunter, did you want to take the reins on this one, or?
Oh, I think we both read it. Yeah, let's just go ahead and let's just dive in together, man. This book was freaking wild, though, man. Did this truly did take you out of the blue, right? Like same as me?
Absolutely. Like I knew, so I had heard briefly about it, I think a couple weeks ago, and then I gotta say, what the homie Simpleton talking about it, and you really pushing it, and the chat last week as we were wrapping up, really kind of sealed the deal for me to check it out, and it was fantastic, man. The artwork was crazy and a really cool story from Walsh. But yeah, definitely wasn't. This one wasn't one on my radar, but I'm glad I put it on there.
Yeah, this was like. I said it in my review as well, but like I was hooked, but by just the very simple premise, which was like Greek mythology by way of cyberpunk. And I'm like, yeah, dude, like sign me up. Like before I loved, Spider-Man, before I loved Batman, before I loved all of these characters, I loved Greek mythology more than anything. That was my absolute favorite thing in school. I ate that stuff up. I still love it so much. Like I'm a fantasy head, probably more like before anything else. But then I got into the book and I realized kind of what it was really doing, which was a retelling of the 12 feats of Hercules. And like, as soon as I understood that, I was like, dude, how amazing is it? And how low hanging fruit is that to have the 12 feats of Hercules and not do that as a 12 issue series? Like why hasn't this happened already before? Because it's right there for the taking. But I'm glad that it's happening now because Michael Walsh killed this issue. He absolutely killed this issue. It was a perfect introduction to this world, to these characters. It was a love letter to Greek mythology, but not in a way that was like just bashing you over the head. Like, hey, this is Zeus. You get it? It's Zeus. It's Zeus. Like, no, it didn't do that. Like everything was done in just a subtle enough way to make you like, oh, that's okay. Real clever little things that they were doing here. So I don't know. It was just beautiful. Like what was your overall experience with the book though?
Oh, dude, my favorite part was that fight with the Hellhound or whatever the hell it was. Like that.
Yeah,
dude, and the artwork in that sequence was fantastic, man. But yeah, just the way it grabs you from the beginning, right? With the tragedy at home, you're instantly like intrigued, and I love how he comes out of the surgery. How you feeling? Expensive, and he's like, oh,
yeah.
We got it right here. Here's some of the artwork, right? I mean, look at this artwork. That's him coming out of the surgery there in the middle, right? And that's him getting surgery there on the left. Incredible, art and page and panel layout, and that fight there on the right with the Hellhounds and I'm totally butchering whatever those things are called, but it was such a super cool couple pages, man. And yeah, the art and the colors were so rad. Like I was not expecting, with Walsh writing and not doing the art, you're a little bit trepidatious because like we just went through Frankenstein, and just such an amazing job he's doing there on both duties. But here, like I really felt like it sung, like it was like they felt like really harmonious, and I don't know, like I can't wait to learn more about this world and these characters, like dude. And like you said, the Olympian thing and the Greek tie-ins are real subtle. And like you really don't think about it that much until we come back kind of to the end of the issue, and the powers that be are kind of having their talk. But yeah, it's I don't know, it's a very great like introduction to this world, and these characters for first issue, and definitely took me completely by surprise. So shout out to you, shout out to Simpleton, anybody else who recommended this one.
Yeah. Did you have any background with the artist on this too, Gustavo
I did
Vargas? 'Cause
not.
I hadn't. Yeah.
I did not. Do you know anything that they've done, like as far as their work?
Not off the top of my head. To me, this was something totally brand new. Let's see. Comics that they've done. Quarantine, Thunderchild, some Image 30th anniversary stuff. So it looks like this is kind of probably their biggest foray into something that's going to be pretty well known.
This is what I love about, like, you look at Image versus Marvel, right? This is what I love about, like, a new artist like this. It's something they're clearly inspired by and passionate about, and they're really turning in great work. Whereas you look at some of these Marvel hires, where I feel like they're just going out into the international pool of artists and hiring these guys because they can get them cheap, and they're turning in work that feels a bit like they're just trying to fall in line with what everybody else is doing. You know what I mean? And like they don't want to. And that feels like that's what's expected of them. You know what I mean? I don't know if they're really encouraged to be like super original or really go outside the lines with it and be themselves, because so much of it feels like the same type of aesthetic and the same type of deal. So I don't know. It's encouraging to see a new name like this, and I don't know, like paired up with a talent like Mike Walsh, and really have the opportunity to make a name for themselves and do something cool. So
yeah, Mike Walsh he's having a heck of a latter half of the year, man. So I hope he keeps that train rolling.
And it's awesome, right? Because like everybody after Silver Coin, he was on everybody's radar, but then there was that kind of like period where it was quiet. So I'm glad to see him back in such a big way. So absolutely.
Yeah, and I think it was for good reason too, though. I think he had his first kid or something like that. So like, hey, good job on you taking the time and like doing the right thing. So
right, yeah, life gets in the way, man. Hell yeah! All right, so moving on next week, bro. How you feeling about our new releases? We got some bangers on there for sure. Savage Sword, Kaya. What are you excited for?
What about what we got? It's slim pickings, but I'm kind of okay with that. 5th Wednesday of the month, so like let's keep it light and breezy. Let's have some fun, and it looks like we're gonna get that, right? We got Batman, The Last Halloween. We got Redcoat. I was just talking about that earlier, and Savage Sword. Anytime we have Savage Sword, we're gonna have a good time. And like I know you're gonna mention another book, so I'll let you mention a certain one that starts with K.
Yeah, dude, Kaya, absolutely. Always excited to see Kaya coming out. Wes Craig can do no wrong. So yeah, excited to see that story getting another chapter, and always curious to see what's going on. Let me get to the chat real quick before we get out of here. Nick said Jim Mahoo. Jim Mahoo. Jim Mahoo. Absolute Wonder Woman sword gives me Berserk vibes in the best way. I love it. Sal says I gotta go back to the shop and pick up No Hunter. Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, you won't be disappointed.
Greek. What was that book? Edith Hamilton's Mythology. I used to be obsessed with that book for a minute. They had it I think abridged versions of all the Greek mythology tales.
Oh yeah.
Damien said, "Yeah, it was a Walsh week. Absolutely." Excited for Savage Sword Jewel. Absolutely.
Yes, I couldn't have said it any better.
Simpleton said Kai is the best book on stands. Hell yeah.
Yes.
I'm excited for Redcoat. I'm also excited to see what's going on in the Ultimate X-Men. Dude, Wolverine Revenge has been a big letdown. You know what I mean? Let me ask you this: how has action been weekly? I read like 2 weeks ago when you were getting into that Mark Waid run. How has it been
Mhm.
keeping up with it? Has it been all right? Is
It's
Clayton
been good.
Henry
Yeah.
still on art?
Clayton Henry still on art.
Okay.
I mean, I'm going to echo. I'm not the only person saying this, and I'm not the first person to say it. It doesn't need to be weekly. I'm not going to, like, it's not bad that it's weekly, but it's like, man, spread the wealth out because, like, Mark Waid, if he's got stories to tell, just let him sit on those for a little bit, man. You don't need to rush things. DC is in such a good place right now. Why not bank some stories to be able to stay on top of Marvel? If it's still the distinguished competition, dude, like you're on top, stay on top. Don't put this out weekly. Like, you know, you don't.
Yeah.
It's just not necessary. Is it a good story? Absolutely. It's just like you're gonna burn people out with that and that
Yeah.
consistently, and you're gonna burn their wallets out too because not everyone can afford every book on the stands, myself
Yeah. For
included.
sure. It never works out when you go weekly. But
Hmm.
it's all good. All right, yeah, well, Long Halloween. I don't know who's the guest artist on this new issue.
I think this is Klaus. Let me double check though.
Okay. Yeah,
And
but
if Uncle Klaus is gonna do a book, man, I'm down.
dude, yeah, I think they have a guy. I remember reading the whole lineup together somewhere before previous, but yeah, I think they got
Mhm.
a really good group of
Dude,
folks. So definitely
some of
excited.
the artists on this book, it's going to be really amazing. Like, and I love that it's really this love letter to Tim Sale, right? It's like a fond
Yes, man.
farewell kind of deal, right? And yes, this issue is Klaus, so
Hell yeah.
it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be good.
Thanks, dude. Yeah. I think it's gonna be fun too. I love Sale, man. Sale's like a really a top favorite of mine, so it's good to see him get all this posthumous love. And I think we got Mateo closing it out, Scalera,
I
I
believe
believe,
that's the case. Yes,
right?
yeah.
Based on our Ink Pulp podcast. So man, just based off his Mr. Freeze One Bad Day, I can't wait to see him return to the world of Batman. Such a great artist.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, dude. So, like you said, slim pickings, but definitely some bangers in there. It's good to see
Hmm.
Savage Sword back on a slow week. That's a good week to have it back. I feel like.
Exactly. Yeah, perfect timing.
Oh yeah. All right. Yeah, man. Go ahead and plug your jam.
All right. So on the pull list, my weekly comic book review show that drops every single Monday morning. Go hit the rewind on that to hear me talking about some of the books that we talked about today, plus a plethora more, including books like Nightwing, Stand Still, Tin Can Society. A lot of great books that came out here. So go check that one out. Also, on top of that, and the show here, I'm also going to be on Hall Yeah Comics tomorrow, going over my favorite thing is monsters. And let me tell you,
Yes.
this was a fantastic read. I won't say too much more because it's going to be a really fantastic conversation that I get to have with some fellows over there. I'm super excited for that. So go join us over on Nate's channel, Hall Yeah Comics, tomorrow at, let's see, 8 o'clock Eastern time tomorrow.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a heck of a time.
Hell yeah. Fantastic selection, fellas. Can't wait to see that breakdown
Yeah,
and
it's going to be fun.
conversation. Yeah, absolutely. All right. Catch me tomorrow night, Blood Splatter Chatter at 9 o'clock Eastern. We're doing a triple header, y'all. The Ty West and Mia Goth, you know, triple feature. I don't know what to call it. We got Pearl X and Maxine. You know, our new Scream Queen, front and center. Man, we're gonna go over these three movies, talk about what we liked, what we didn't, and bring horror. I can't believe Horror Fest is coming to a close, man. It's been such a great run over for me on Verno's channel. So make sure you are with us tomorrow for a great conversation about Mia Goth and Ty West. 9 o'clock Eastern. And that will do it,
Nice.
I guess, for us. Anything else you want to say to the people before we get out of here, bro?
No, just thank you so much for hanging with us. Appreciate every single one of you for coming out week after week, man. You guys are the best. Keep reading books, keep inspiring us to keep reading new books, and thank you so much.
Absolutely. Real quick, since I'm hosting, let me do this chat rundown real quick. We had Taki,
Do it.
John, Simpleton, Verno, Rogue, Sal, Fable. Who else? Nick, Damien, Brother Joe, oh yeah. Anybody else? I think that's about everybody.
The cream of the crop, the best of the best.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys for coming through and spending time with us. Hope everybody has a good Halloween out there this week. Y'all stay safe and be excellent to each other. Station, y'all. See you next week.